Hello and welcome to Pillow Talk. Now today I'm very, very honoured really to have on Pillow Talk Des O'Connor's daughter, Hazel O'Connor. It's a funny joke, isn't it, Hazel?
It's really good. That's the second time in my life that's happened.
I'm sure it is. Now, Hazel, you made a huge splash in 1980 when you starred, and you wrote Breaking Glass, didn't you? And it was all, you know, roll out the banners, and it was all big stardom time and all that sort of thing. But you got completely and utterly ripped off on the whole thing, and actually ended up making, tell me, do correct me if I'm wrong, £700 on the whole film, and you're still now still involved in all the lawsuits that have evolved from that. What went wrong?
Well, it's a very slidey bed, this, we have tonight.
Don't evade the issue, Hazel.
No, the thing was, the film didn't rip me off. That was the unfortunate side of it. My record company that I was signed to before the film.
Do we want to name names?
Do we want to name names? They were called Albion Records. I don't really care. They're already in a book about them, and I don't know whether even they ripped me off. They would probably say I ripped them off. But basically, I was signed to them before the film. The film came, made me famous, and then I went back to Albion Records, who didn't seem to be able to get much together with my career. And at the end of it all, at the end of 2 years of being mega famous, I found that I'd only got £700. So me and my friend Sal went to Morocco for a holiday.
The thing that was so extraordinary, though, was that was exactly the story of Breaking Glass, wasn't it? About a girl making it hugely big and then slumping right down. Had you not taken any hints or anything from the film?
No, that's the problem. If you sit, you know, it's the whole thing about art imitating life and life imitating art. If you sit down and really carve a story and you sit and say, this character would do this and that, then in a way, you kind of fall into your own trap. I think we trapped me a little bit then. It's like if you write songs, whenever I've written a song, it always seems to end up that whatever the song's about seems to be happening in my life.
Yeah.
Which it obviously would, I guess.
And it was the same in Breaking Glass.
Yeah.
Do you blame anybody from it, or or have you got to end up blaming yourself for just taking the wrong decisions at the time?
No, there is one person that I blame.
You don't blame yourself at all?
Oh, I do blame me too for being such a nunce and not actually taking the bull by the horns when I felt like I ought to, which was just as Breaking Glass was happening. I never wanted to be with the people that I was signed to before Breaking Glass, and it was just unfortunate. But there is one person that's the bogeyman as well, and he knows who he is.
Do you want to tell us?
No, I don't. He'll get his own karma when he's off in New York with his floozy or whatever he does.
Especially because he's a nunce. Nunces do get their comeuppance, don't they? Having had that amazing setback after Breaking Glass and sort of having been so high and then sinking so low, you've kept on in there, and you've kept writing and you've kept performing, and you did Girlfriends this year and you've kept going. What actually keeps you going when sort of fame has treated you so badly?
I think it's those little newspaper quotes, you know, that go, oh, Hazel O'Connor is making a comeback. and then if you do enough comebacks, as they call them, then it really proves that you didn't go anywhere. Because it's horrible when the papers always look at you, or the media looks at you as something that comes and goes and is gone, whereas you still live your life when you don't get seen for a year or 2 years. You
do go on living your life, but if I had been in your shoes, I would have given up ages back. I wouldn't have kept on going after I'd had the sort of treatment that you've had. I wouldn't.
You would.
I wouldn't,
I think you would, lovey.
I couldn't have coped with it. I think you're amazing to have kept going, I really do.
But it's good for you. What is it somebody told me? Pain is pleasure. You carry on, because what else can you do? I've travelled all my life, ran away when I was 16, spent life in weird and wonderful places, and then came to the point where I realised there was something I could actually do. And I thought it was singing, and then acting seemed to be the one that everybody took notice of. Then acting disappeared, singing was the thing, then singing disappeared, acting was the thing. there's not anything else that I'm really suited for, because I'm a terrible human being. If I couldn't be a good wife. I'd flap all over the place. Oh, he's coming home from dinner. Oh, my goodness. Where is it? Oh, it's burned. Lovey, I've done your dinner in again. No, it'd be over, innit?
It hasn't left you at all cynical, has it? You're still bouncing up, aren't you?
I was cynical for a while.
But you're all right now?
I think
you
I'm
don't feel bitter?
Bit bitter, only about him.
Well, you're looking very good anyway, aren't you? Like your hair, like the lipstick. It's all looking great.
Need the roots.
You are, having done all my research and read all these press cuttings, you are a very well-publicised Hare Krishna, aren't you? Which involves no sex and no drugs and no booze and all that sort of stuff. Isn't that quite difficult, working in the profession that you're in the music business, which kind of basically runs on sex, drugs and booze, and actually being an abstainer? Isn't that quite hard?
I think it doesn't run on sex, drugs and booze, actually. I think that's when it all falls to pieces. If you look at bands that have come up and they've blown it, it's generally drugs you'll find. I mean, you know, I don't want to mention certain names because it's not fair on another him because he's a nice person, but drugs is usually something you take shelter in when you're lonely, and the sex ruling in the Hare Krishnas doesn't necessarily have to be something I can follow.
What do you mean?
Well, there are principles that initiated devotees have taken on. They're vows that a monk or a nun would take on. And
does that involve no sex or just no sex before marriage?
It involves no sex before marriage, and then when you're married, you're supposed to only have sex to procreate.
And you believe in it?
I believe in it as a principle. Whether I could do it or not is another thing.
Why do you believe in it as a principle?
Because I think, well, I guess AIDS is bringing it out now in people too, that there's a time to have sex and there's a time to get to know somebody. And because we're products of the 60s when the pill happened and women suddenly found out they could do it all over the place. But I noticed when I was in my hippie youth in the 70s that all the women I'd known that were great hippies and all the guys that were great hippies, the women were still doing exactly the same old SHIT as the women had been doing in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s. And that was, hey man, make a cup of tea. Okay, I'll make the cup of tea.
But it doesn't always lead to that, does it? And I mean, sex within marriage, only for procreation, is very severe.
Yeah, but there are other things in loving somebody. I'm not saying that I could do that, but I do think it's a good ideal and principle to try to love somebody for other reasons than sex, because a lot of relationships that I've been involved in have been involved in to do with bonking, really. And
having made that ruling, do you find that kind of perversely it attracts men more because they know that you won't have sex with them?
Well, years ago, see, I had my heart broken, OK?
Did you?
I had my heart broken by a pop star, and who knows who he is too.
I think the whole world knows who he is, isn't it?
And serves him right. Anyway, the main thing is, no, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Anyway, go on.
No, it's hot, the duvet must be a feather one. I'm allergic, Emma.
Come on, get on with the question.
Oh, right, where were we? Right, so with me heart being broken about 5 years ago, and my career broken and all that, to be frank, I wasn't very interested in, you know, making love with anybody. And then I met the Hare Krishnas, and I thought, well, I can adhere to this philosophy for a while. And that's why I'm saying, as a principle, I understand it. And if one is living totally by those rules and regulations, then maybe the world might be different. But I don't know whether I could, and I would, because I'm in a mode of passion. I'm forever in a flap. And
it is something, though, that you take very seriously. And does it upset you when well, not friends, but people or the media or anything laugh at it? Because it is, people do think, oh, Hare Krishna, you know, bit of a joke, and you get all these, you know, no sex for Hazel.
That was rather funny, that one. I think they should have paid me for that, actually, because I didn't tell them that story. They made it up. No, because it's funny for me, because, see, 4 years ago, I was in that same paper, I believe, Sexual Barracuda.
Oh, really?
So I'm quite pleased. And I was also noted as, well, they didn't actually say I was a lesbian, but they were intimating it.
Is that something you've ever considered as a relation, as an alternative to going out with men?
Emma.
Oh, hey.
I wanted to tell you something tonight.
If you didn't.
No, they said, that same newspaper said that me and my best mate were supposed to be lesbians, and it really upset me. It's not that I don't think it's any of my business what everybody else's sexuality is, but I knew what mine was, and I'm not gay. And me and my mate, we really got upset because we were sharing a flat, and this woman did a total tear-up job and made us look like really stupid and really weedy in the whole piece, and we thought that nobody would ever fancy us again.
No, but they have since. All that's in the past now. Tell me about now. You've got...
All right, Em.
Tell me about now. Tell me plans for the moment.
Now I'm doing my own show at Riverside this week.
Which is called what?
Sing Out Sister.
Yeah.
And it's on the 21st, 22nd and 23rd. I hope you'll be there.
And is it fab?
I think it'll be quite fab. It's got fab people in.
Like you?
No, I was going to actually say like my friend Claire.
Oh, Claire, that's
Hurst.
nice.
She was in the Bell Stars, and she's now doing her acting debut in this. She also played with Dave,
Terrific.
David Bowie, that is, at Live Aid.
Listen, after your name dropping, good luck with it.
Oh, you
I hope it goes really well.
me
That's
out
it,
the bed
yeah.
now?
That's it, I'm afraid.
Is that all you get?
Keep your mouth shut, O'Connor. Coming up later on Night Network, we've got all sorts of things, including Lee's Place. People will be dropping in to there. But first, and right now, shut up. It's time for some Bananarama.